my God. It was a little bit like dimmer. Let's try to dimmer it.
We'll dimmer it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when we started the vlog, it was perfect.
It was
and we
dimmer.
thought we were going to have to do what we're doing now, which is,
This is good.
dimmer it. Yeah.
But I'm pale and you're not.
You're not really pale. Well, you got the Christmas lights behind you, too. I'm just kind of... See? Leave it like that.
Leave it just like that.
Yep. Let me see.
And then we're going to talk about my wonky nails. No, we're not. We're not going to talk about wonky fingernails. Sawyer's getting groomed on Christmas Eve. It's his Christmas present. See though, Sean, like if we do it like this, then you can kind of see the tree too.
Can you guys see the tree?
Nobody's even here.
Yeah, we've got 5 people here.
Oh, that one doesn't say there is.
That one does. My phone is like a few seconds behind yours. Like y'all see that something roll right there, and then it'll come across.
Roll
here.
Tide?
No.
I don't know why I said that.
What's up, people?
It's iced coffee again, but this is the cup that I'm using. I have a whole collection. I think I've said that for whatever reason. I don't know. Probably because I have a spending problem. But this is the original.
You have a spending problem?
This is the original stainless steel straw that came with it.
I got plenty of overtime. So
that Starbucks recalled because people, hey Megan, people
were
Nelson. Falling on it and it was cutting their mouth open.
That's because they're not very smart. You're not supposed to drink alcohol.
So I have the original one. Yeah, that's true. Well, I think it was specifically kids. And I'm like, who hands something like this over to their... And so this was recalled. If you went in, they would replace it with a plastic straw.
This one? That is kind of...
But it's what makes it so cool.
Yeah.
So...
What's everyone up to on Friday night?
Oh, it's caramel.
So let's see, y'all.
Let's talk about going to Waffle House.
We do that.
We're fancy like Applebee's. Well, we haven't in a while because I always get like the patty steak melt. And after you do it about 3 weekends in a row. So I need to get something different. But we haven't been, hey, Reachable. We haven't been in a while. Megan, how are you? Megan was here the other day, but I always like to know what she's up to. Like school or McDonald's or what. I got bags under my eyes.
Do you want to paint the house?
I want to paint the house, you guys. And Sean is gonna go to sleep, and I want to paint the house. So
you know what that means. Mm-hmm. So Friday night, it's a little bit later than it would normally be for us because.
Well, later being relative.
Right, but what I mean is Saturday is the only day of the week that we're both off.
Yes.
So we kind of figure out what to do on Friday.
And it's irritating people that we're calling it Vlogmas Day, whatever, and we're not really doing it. Not real bad, but like. Look, he's going to steal stuff off the fireplace. I been busy working at Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, and Amazon. Very nice.
Wow. Hold on. What do you do at Amazon? See, like in the warehouse, or do you drive? Because
she's a hard worker.
I know.
She's always been like. She's the only one that we're not exactly positive how old she is, but she gets to come in here. It's not like we really say anything bad. Sawyer's looking at me. But yeah, I might, if we go to Waffle House, you know they have a hostess. Well, they did.
Well, she quit.
They had a hostess, which if y'all know Waffle House, that's a little awkward because you kind of just come in and sit in chairs, and then most people can like organize themselves, and you're like, okay, you were here, then I was here, then whatever. But they hired this hostess who was inept, and she made it about 3 weeks and then walked out.
Well, we don't, 3 weeks that we would go.
What? Right, but then see what he's doing? He does that to me all the time. Come on.
Oh, get out of here then.
No, he's like, look at him. He's so cute.
Y'all want to see Sawyer Brown?
He won't because he's in his mood where he's like, no, you either pay attention to me, but you will not pick me up.
Yeah. Come here.
Do. No. Hey, Bryn Michelle, how are you? And Nelson, I saw Nelson came in, and are we sitting on the wrong side again?
No, we're on the right side. Okay. We're going to open a pack of these tonight.
Well, I bought the wrong ones.
Mandi got me a Christmas present, basketball cards, and I'm going to open them.
But what's wrong with them?
There's nothing wrong with them.
They're college.
But I thought that...
She works in the warehouse, sorting
Man.
packages.
What I've heard that's
There's
pretty
so
hard
many.
work. I heard that's
Well,
it's
no,
hard work.
you know it's hard work.
Why?
I like it when we're live because you're like on.
I am?
Yeah. And that's kind of hot. Like on, not
Like come to life, like my personality, or is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
yeah, like come to life.
I have to go live more because Mandy thinks it's hot, and
I do think it's hot.
look at how she's like glowing.
I do. I think everything about him is hot, which is really like we've been together a while, and I literally.
We were talking about earlier. We were talking about
This
when
is
we were just friends, you know, and had no idea, you know, what road we were going to go. Has anybody ever like been?
Because I used to give him some comments on his vlogs that were not always the nicest, and he always took it really well.
But they weren't really mean comments. I mean, like I had people that the comments were mean.
Yeah.
But
But you're I think I realized pretty quickly that you were such a nice guy and you don't care what people think to the extent you're going to change, but if people gave you some sort of constructive criticism other than you're married to a psychopath, then
Right.
you heeded it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like
Hey, Hazel
people
and
figure
Steve.
out pretty quickly. Remember with your mom, like within the first couple
I get
weeks
it.
that I was around your mom, she said, he's such a nice guy. I bet women run all over him. Remember when she said that?
She said, I bet people step all over him, and it was like, only his wives.
Hey,
But I
Steve.
changed that.
Yeah, but she did say that. She was like, he's such a nice guy. I bet people run all over him, which was kind of true.
And those of you who know the story know that it was kind of like, hey, mom and dad, we're going to go ahead and get divorced. Hey, mom and dad, this is Sean.
Oh my God.
And my dad said that he told my aunt, he was like, you know, Mandy, she does things a little on her own schedule. Because he was like, Mandy's getting divorced. She goes, oh, and she's like, Mandy's married.
Mary-
Hey, come here, Scout. Look at it.
So let's see.
He says I'm being a very good kitty today.
Yoakum is
Oh, you're gonna
here.
be 22 on
Hazel-eyed, not that
Monday.
Hazel.
She's going to be 22.
So we
on Monday.
finally know
So you
how
are-
old Megan is.
I think she's told us before.
Right.
She's just a really sweet girl. But I mean, like, we let her in when we weren't positive. Look.
I know.
What kind of breed would you call him?
He's a Mancoon.
But I mean, look how sweet he is. He's
Look at him.
so
He's looking.
sweet.
And he watches TV.
And look how limp he is.
Like I'll
He's
have a
so-
football game on. He'll be sitting right next to me watching it.
He's so sweet. All of
He's a
our
good
animals
kitty.
are sweet. Yeah, I remember when I remember when she turned 21. One of the last times we went live, or
It was
just
a year
before,
ago.
yeah, in Texas as
Yep.
we were about to leave, she said she was having a birthday. I remember.
Well, tomorrow will be the 1 year ago when we pulled into Georgia.
Megan, how did you find us? I've never asked her that. How did you, like, was it a random recommendation, or did you? I mean, how did? Because I've never asked her how she found us. She's always been super loyal in there, but she hasn't.
Here's the thing with Megan. When we were doing our channel 2 years ago, when we were building it and we had a lot of people in the chat when we were first going, she was always like right there. She was always right there.
And we figured out pretty quick that, like, she was not a troll. Like, at first we're like, well, whatever. But then she just, and I haven't seen her anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't know. Or it could
haven't
be
seen her anywhere
she could
else.
use a different name.
Yeah,
But-
that's probably true.
So I'm gonna open this.
Open it.
Okay, so this is a pack of 2021 Chronicles basketball card. If y'all ever watched my vlogs, I was talking about how the boom about a year ago when the boom
The
because
Nuggets
of a,
beat the Hawks.
I know. It's kind of calming down now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt him, but the Nuggets beat the Hawks.
did. Cade Cunningham, he was the first pick overall. Jalen Suggs was the second pick overall. And that's the problem with cards right now is they're flooding the market with base cards. They're pretty cool though.
You told me my hair looked okay. No, it doesn't.
Your hair looks fine, baby.
Go ahead.
Are
I'm
you
not serious about it, no. But, like, I'm looking at it. We're talking about our own things. I'm being,
I thought this was gonna go south real quick.
you know, he knows I wouldn't be. But no, but when I turn this way, it's just.
Your hair is fine, babe.
Well, hey, draft horse. The thing is, those who know me know I don't really care. I'm focused back on you again.
Okay. Anyway, this was the pack of basketball cards that I just opened.
And this is when he goes, man, I shouldn't have gotten this. It wasn't any good.
No, this is
no, but not if I did. Even if I didn't buy it, he used to do that. We would get the cards and he'd open it and go, man, I shouldn't have. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, she said you're not going to have buyer's remorse. You're going to go
Yeah.
get the cards, and you're gonna buy them. You're gonna put as many in the card as you want.
Thank you, Hazel.
And I don't want to hear you say no. I don't want to hear you say we
Dr.
can't afford it. I don't want you to put them back. So I don't.
Megan found through Dr. Phil.
Oh, found me.
Yeah, we're actually going to be on the show. Are they airing it 2 weeks from yesterday?
What, us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The update? Are they doing it 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Look,
sorry.
you should have let that ride for a
Oh,
second and see what people.
Where's the big box?
But you can admit now that you were approached.
Yeah, I said it in my vlog.
Oh, did
I
you?
had been contacted.
To do an update.
I mean, anyone that's friends with me on, like when they talk about your profile page on YouTube and like the top 3 people that you visit or the top 3 that check out your page, they're like be in your profile. They'll be right there. I don't know how true that is, but I guess there's some kind of like.
But you knew this guy was legit. Who it was?
Well, because it was the same guy that contacted her that Friday night when he contacted her, and he friended me. It's a couple months ago now, and
Then he messaged you.
he messaged me, and he asked what I was doing, and I kind of told him because I have a feeling he knew. He knows.
Oh, I think they track the people.
Well,
yeah,
and
for
he,
sure.
I think when people they recruit for shows like that,
Hey, let it go.
I think they have like 4 or 5 different YouTube channels or different profiles, and they're because if you go to this guy, anyways, he's Keyshawn Dr. Phil, and if you, my Facebook page is public. I may not be your friend, but everything I have on there is public, and so anyway, he asked me some things, asked me how I was doing, and then he asked me if I would be open to doing an update or to come back and do something, and I didn't even answer it. I didn't say no. I just didn't communicate anymore.
We didn't tell them because we weren't going live. You got it after we already got here, didn't you?
It was like 2 months ago. It was very recent. Yeah.
No, it was longer than that, but it was after we had already been here.
That he got in touch with me.
Yeah.
I did on my very last vlog. I mentioned it.
Hey, Erica.
But
I didn't remember that. I'm sorry.
But I knew that he was around, but he hadn't friended me.
Yeah.
And then he friended me, and then he gave me and so when that happened, I for a hot minute thought something was, but then
Yeah, we
nothing
thought
came of
we
it.
were wondering who might be like.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in that. I mean, like when you talk about people that have been on TV, you look at the ones that have. It hasn't really been their shining moments. That's why I just hope that like, and it appears that it is like with Amy and Tammy that they're treating them well, and it appears that they are. That was my biggest thing when they got their TV deal, that they were just going to be treated poorly, and it doesn't. I guess things are going well for them. So.
Let It Go said she wished that you would go back on and update your life. But the thing is well, they're not interested in me. I guarantee they want him to update.
Here's my take. You want me to tell them my philosophy on it?
Do it.
You know that there's other people that talk about Dr. Phil and being on Dr. Phil and this and that. What people fail to realize is that show was about her. That show is about my ex-wife. They needed her for the show. They didn't need, and they kind of needed me, but they didn't need anybody else. They just kind of found other people. So I always felt like when people brought it up that they didn't understand that they were kind of plugging her because that's why that show happened.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It's like, I know Wendy brings it up. Remember, she used to be always on Dr. Phil. They didn't need her.
Yeah.
They didn't need her on the show. She just happened to be the person that went.
And she'll admit now that
yeah, I mean,
she probably wouldn't do it again if she. I don't think anybody would. People that have gone up, Mindy Meeks and Larry.
Larry and Mindy Minks, if you guys follow them, they went on it and they were all excited. And I think I because Larry Minks has his own channel, and he does like his football jerseys and stuff on as part of some of the stuff that he does.
I haven't seen. I'm looking at.
And you know, when they have someone that's got a really big channel and they do something and you've been a part of something like that, and then you reach out, well, you get in touch with me. You know, there's people that want to talk to them about stuff.
Oh,
And I was like, I just hope they treat you okay, and evidently they didn't. I know. Did you see that one?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make me sad. She's pregnant.
Yep.
They
you
did-
guys know Mindy Minx?
They did it the way that we're probably gonna do it.
They had to.
Well, she tried to be inseminated and it didn't work, which I don't know why that was. And then they did the sperm retrieval and the fertilization and the implantation.
Yeah. You guys watch that? I thought when at first when you said Mindy Minx, I thought it was like
I'm
porn star or
super
something that
happy
did.
for them. I always I mean, because we're not in an age gap, we're not far enough apart, but they have the same thing. He thought he was done. Then she was younger, and then they debated whether they were going to do it or not do it, and then they did. And anyway,
Who's coming
Hey,
in here?
German
German lady. She was on earlier
age
today,
doesn't
wasn't
mean
she?
anything.
German
Thank
lady,
you,
weren't you on
Colleen.
earlier today? I know it was
She was
railing on somebody.
bombshell.
Bomb.
Do you know what they call a wicked widow? The wicked widow. You know?
Spill the tea, Sean. Karen
That was
says.
earlier, yeah.
Yeah, she's in control of the phone.
No, you can hold it.
So
Kathleen, hey. I just shared it. Yeah, well, but you were done and then you came back on. You follow me. Yeah, I'm super happy for him. I really am. I just want it to be us.
it will.
It will, but
It will one way or the other.
you know, I'm not going to be inseminated. Hers didn't take.
Turkey baster.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I can understand why they did it because it was the cheaper way to go.
Yeah.
But that kind of that's not why.
But
we
if
would,
they do that, you really don't have much oversight over the development of the embryo, though, do you?
well, it's just like getting pregnant spontaneously.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No,
I
but
mean,
she's what, 32, something like 31.
That's
maybe
true.
not even that old. I don't
and
know.
he's like my age, a little older.
He's older.
He's way
like
older.
60 or whatever. But I'm happy for them, and he's kind of like Sean. He only had one son, and then he did it, and he's like Sean. He's like, no, I never in a million years thought that
Yeah.
at
I mean,
60, but he was, and they didn't at first when they first started look at him when they first started coming on. He wasn't so like, he was like, yeah, we're talking about it, and she just wanted to talk about it too for a while. And then they did that Barcroft or whatever, and then they were like,
yeah. But when they went on Dr. Phil, from what I understand, that I haven't seen the show, but I've seen some of the comments, he kind of sort of got onto them about the unprofessionalism of the age gap, because he was a cop and like pulled her over.
yeah.
And that's how they met. He
And
pulled
they
her
were
over.
supposed to be talking about haters.
Right.
And then he flipped the script on him and
Yep.
was like, what in the world? And they said that he tried to reverse the vasectomy. I don't know. Maybe I just thought it was an insemination or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be the way, if I wasn't older, that would be the way to go. But I didn't realize at 40, there's a 1 in 20 chance of, after 40, of a chromosomal disorder. And the thing is people always assume that's just Down syndrome when it's not. But they're like, and that's not it, because some people have it and they're, they're fine with whatever God gives them. Most of the time you miscarry.
Wow.
So most of the ones that aren't developing correctly, you just miscarry. And it just makes, but we aren't going to do the gender.
No.
We'll let them, and they won't put more than one in if you're over 40.
Wow.
It's like, can you put 4 in? I mean, no.
I mean, we want like.
We won a whole baseball team and one, sounded like somebody was at the door. Nobody comes to our door.
We are out here. But I wasn't sure if the internet
It was her
would work,
that
and it
chased him.
does.
Yep, she had a cop thing, and she thought he was cute. And she said that she at first was like, oh, maybe they'll send a cute cop. And she was like, and then he showed up. She goes, oh, he's older. And she's like, but he is cute.
I mean,
And she said that, he said he was like, this girl's hitting on me.
that's what he was saying.
Yeah, he was like. Anyway, it's a
See,
sweet
her
story.
YouTube channel
Off the
started
wall.
out with Mindy Minx started out with like Harry Potter stuff, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And she had a YouTube channel about Harry Potter, and it kind of took off from there. And then she took it the other way. But
they do very well with their channel.
They
have
do
partnerships.
Good, yeah.
She is a strong-minded businesswoman, and she was working when he was retired, but she was working, and she decided to do it full time. And she Sawyer, if you're chewing on a Christmas present, it's not going to be a good thing. Hold this.
Hold on.
He may not. I don't think he is. Oh, he's chewing on a plastic hanger. Why? That's your favorite.
We're constantly
favorite,
buying plastic hangers because Sawyer gets them and chews them up.
Yeah. It's like he's not going to come over here because he's in a mood. He's in a mood. He's in a Shih Tzu mood. Sean's always sending me pictures of little Shih Tzus that he sees, because he starts conversations.
Well, I know enough people at my work that, I talk about my dog.
Thank you.
So people that have Shih Tzus, they're like, they'll come by work or whatever, or I see them somewhere and they happen to have their dog with them. And so I end up taking a picture of their dog and sending it to her.
Yeah.
So, and every time that happens, she says, I need it, or I want it. I want it.
But I know now when the one you send is the lady that rescues Shih Tzus, and I'm like, I know if I say I want it, he's like, oh, home it comes.
Yeah.
But their adoption fees probably, most of those rescues for like those kind of things, the adoption fee's like $400.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to keep the doors open. I know
see.
one of the things that we talked about was, not really talked about it, but one of the things that you might want to do is have a rescue, and just keep a couple dogs. It costs money.
It does.
Especially because a lot of the dogs that come in are neglected, or they have health care needs. That falls on the person that's taking care of them. You can rehome a dog if you can say, hey, I got all its shots for it. It's got a clean bill of health, and that all costs money.
Yeah, the fur babies do bug the tree. But not I surrendered the fact that when you have 3 cats, and not so much Sawyer, but when you have 3 cats, you got to be ready for anything with the tree. They're going to knock stuff off. They're going to climb it. They play with it, but they haven't been bad about I remember the first year we were together, didn't Ginger pull the entire tree out over?
Well, she was in it.
Yeah, she would sit in it.
So, when she got out of the tree, it was a fake tree. It had this little round, little nest area. So you get bent. Yeah. I could never get the stuff bent back the way it needed to be. And she would just crawl up in there and sit. About halfway up the tree, this cat would be sticking its eyes out.
I know, and it was cute. We had pictures. I need to go back and find them. They were talking about that they can't stand the ASPCA commercials or whatever. I turned the channel, and the Melissa Etheridge one that they show the pictures of the animals or whatever, I always turn the channel.
Is it Melissa Etheridge that does it?
Mm-hmm. In the Arms of the Angel or whatever.
That's Sarah McLachlan.
Well, whatever. Yeah. No, they do. One of the songs is Melissa Etheridge, but I can't think of what the song was.
I like Melissa Etheridge, by the way.
I do too. But they said that a lot of channels don't want the commercial on there because people turn the channel and don't come back.
Right.
So
that's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, poodles are expensive too, I've heard. The person that I work with, or work for, I guess, used to have pugs. That was her big thing is pugs.
Lots of pugs.
Lots of pugs. And you put eye drops in their eyes 3 times a day because they bulge. And I said, that's just what they do. Yeah.
What they do.
And I said, well, do they have little attitudes? Because Shih Tzus, for the most part, they strut, they trot, and she goes, no, not so much. They're just kind of everybody always thinks they're bored because pugs are just kind of
But they do have those big eyes.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you're not supposed to really have cats and them together because they'll. Anyway, thought that was interesting.
They'll scratch their eyes or whatever.
She's got a little bit. She's got a little bit of a time lapse, which happens with, memory disorders, and remember Wallace Simpson and her husband who abdicated the throne, which is why it went to Elizabeth's father.
Sort of. I don't know.
They had a bunch of pugs. He married an American and abdicated. and they had a whole bunch of pugs. And sometimes she'll say, you
Like
know,
a whole
that
bunch, like what, like 15 of them or something like that?
I think if you have anything that's an offspring of those pugs or whatever,
It's worth a lot of money.
yeah. But she'll say, thank you, Ava. She'll say, or Eva, sorry. She'll say,
Hey.
you know, the Duke and Duchess of, I don't know if it was Windsor or Cambridge. I don't know that. She's like, they have pugs and whatever. And she thinks that they're still, he was older than
Oh my
Elizabeth's
gosh,
father.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
They haven't been around for a while.
yeah, that's,
Come here, you.
that's okay. That's one of the things that, that's what I've heard.
He doesn't back
Hold
away
on, hold
from
on,
me.
you're about to knock it over.
He doesn't back away from me. He just flops over and he becomes dead weight.
Look at him. He says, I'm getting a haircut on Christmas Eve, you guys.
Can't see the camera right now. It's
That's
right there.
that's
Look.
the first appointment. Look at him.
You can look at the
Look,
camera.
show him your buck teeth. Which one, how many teeth do you have out?
Then my papa power.
He's very cute. Look at him. They can't see the papa power. There he is. Say hi, Sawyer Brown. Pomeranian. I've heard, Sean says it pretty much holds true that female Shih Tzus always have little. My mom's did. Boys
Yep.
seem to have a. Oh, Eva has a question about our relationship. Thank you.
Go for it, Eva.
Eva, she's the one that sent us the succulents.
Yes.
I need to
tell
send you a picture of what you've created.
Yeah, I have a whole 2 windows and I would say,
Thank you.
succulents. I mean, I've got a couple of them that are, 6 or 7 inches tall, maybe taller.
Yeah.
And then there's certain succulents that
They are
not.
mean.
They're supposed to grow out, but mine have grown up. So I have these sticks, and they kind of grow up the stick like a vine.
And gosh knows they're gonna have you. I'll answer that in just a second, or I'll let him answer it, and then I'll answer it. Let me pin it real quick. Can you pin that?
I don't know how to pin stuff,
Oh my gosh.
Whole reason I haven't gone live all these years on my channel, I don't understand how to do it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Eva, I think that if having our own children is probably secondary to those succulents. You might see them as our own.
Well, I mean, there's chickens on the way too.
Yeah. So when did you realize that you were in love with each other?
You go.
Why do I have to do it first? It was May the 15th, right?
You said it first.
Yeah, but was it May the 15th?
Yes, it was.
We crossed over on May the 9th, and on May the 15th, I was like, this is freaking crazy, but I love you. And he was like,
Yep. I was pulling into my daughter's house in Cincinnati. And she was like, I love you. It was like we were saying goodbye for the evening because I was pulling in and I was going to be with my daughter and my grandson and, at their house. So I wasn't going to have any, there wasn't going to be any texting or anything like that. And she just said, okay, I love you. And
I was like, he's gone. That's it.
But because I didn't see it at first, because I was pulling in, remember, it was like 10 minutes before I said anything back.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then we said it that night on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and then we were just
went
kind
live.
of.
I think you went live on the boardroom that night or something like that.
Right.
When you were doing the boardroom
and
stuff.
then we were like, is that freaking great? I was like, oh my God. I was like, can that even be possible? And you're like, I don't know.
Because I thought I loved her, and I pretty much knew I did. And then when I was with her physically, it made anything because it was crazy. It was crazy because it was like I haven't been with her physically, and I don't mean like sex or anything like that. I mean just like we haven't even like hung out physically.
Yeah.
It was another couple weeks, and there was a lot of reasons because what I was going through. I mean, first of all, she's gorgeous, she's nice, and then I was going through realizing that I had been in a situation that was kind of humiliating. I had been, and she was giving me my worth back. She was,
That is true. You said that the biggest thing was, I said, look, whether we work out or not, you're okay. You're going to be okay.
She said that what we see here on YouTube and doesn't define you. Mm-hmm. And so right off the bat, I knew that I loved her, and I knew that it was somebody that I just wanted to be around her. because I knew what it should make me a better man too.
Yeah.
You know, a better version of myself.
That you said that.
And that was important. I mean, I'm 50 years old.
And I thought, because I had always said if I got divorced, I wouldn't get married again. I might date or whatever. But and I thought, well, he's definitely not. He's going to be like, you know
So
what?
funny listening.
We can date or whatever. But look, man, the marriage thing, I'm done with it. But like, I would say by May the 17th, he was like, do you want to get married? And I was just like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes I rewatch our videos, especially the first couple that we ever did. She does look at me like that, and at first it was, you know,
I do remember that.
She's such a part of me now. You know, it's just like she's my other half. So now it's a connection. You know, we really connected.
Let It Go said, remember your first tiff when you started packing? Yeah, Sean thought that was it. He was like, well, she's going to throw me out. I'm like, okay, first of all, calm down.
Yeah, I know.
It's just but that is what happened. He thought he was going to have to pack. I was like, no, arguments happen. And I said, and first of all,
I was hardwired for that.
I said, this is every bit your apartment as much as it is mine. I don't care who's on the lease, who isn't on the lease.
She said, I will never throw you out, no matter how.
Well, first of all, neither one of us were on the lease.
Right.
But we weren't. And we weren't. It was, if they'd known that, people would have been turning us in all the time because I was selling a house. It's a long story. So, but anyway, the point is, I said, this is where you lay your head. And I don't care what happens. You don't get thrown out.
I will never put you out. I would never, no matter how bad we fight.
Never.
I will never make you leave.
And I said, the abuse was a non-issue because I knew he was not capable of that. I knew that before we even crossed over.
Right.
I knew the second that allegation was made back in the Dream Space days that it was bullshit. I knew it wasn't true. But yeah, I was like, you don't throw your life partner out. You don't. Spouse aside, because then you just don't do that. You don't send them. I don't understand how you can claim that you've loved somebody, you married them, and know that they're sleeping in their car that night. How do you go to sleep?
Remember how I wouldn't unpack?
Yeah.
I would keep certain things packed. My bag, certain packed. I'm living with Mandy. And I have certain things that are still in boxes and they're still packed. And these were things that I needed to take, you know, if I needed to go. They were, and
I threw that bag away.
I know.
Unpacked it and threw it away.
I mean, there's stuff that I left behind that they're physical things and they're just things, but there are some things that meant something to me. And so it was like, I'm a very nostalgic guy, and so I am. So there's things that I just want to be. I want to have those items just for my whole life, and so in order for that to happen, I had to have a storage locker. I had to keep. I never had them on display anywhere because they were just part of me, and I would reference them every so often. And so it was where she said, "Unpack. You know, this is your house. You can put your stuff out." And if you look at our house right now. She has decorated it with my stuff, a lot of my stuff that I've had for years and just never had it out because I always had to be ready to take it.
Yeah. I mean, some of the pictures like he got in Iraq, I framed. They had been just in a cardboard tube for years and they're framed now. And now he puts his stuff away. That's truly the most cruel thing is that he is so nostalgic, probably more than I am. So to think that someone...
And you're a nostalgic person.
Yeah, someone that knew that about him and had, for better or for worse, committed to be with him, would throw his things away, his yearbooks, his cards.
Yeah, all my high school yearbooks. I had them for years. I'm 50 years old. I graduated high school in 1987, and I carted those books all through my life, all over the world in the military. And just like that, they're gone. They're trash. They're thrown out.
And the thing is like, I don't understand. Like for whatever, like I was gonna tell you this for whatever, like there shouldn't be that much animosity someone you were married with, especially when it just didn't work out. This is Brian's. It was his. I didn't know that I had it. It was his from his childhood, and I've had it, and I found it. It was in our stuff, and I'm gonna send it back to him.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna do, because there's nothing
thing.
that he did that was so bad that I would throw it away.
And and when you think about the reason why y'all aren't together, or why you fell out of love, or why your marriage didn't work, it's some pretty bad things.
Yeah.
It was bad, you know, but it not that bad.
Not that
it's
bad.
not that bad
It's
to
his.
destroy
This is his.
destroy
This is,
his legacy.
right.
You don't do that.
There's nothing that he could do that was so bad that this is not his.
Right.
Right? Because it's also sticking it to his parents, to everybody. So I'll probably send it back. Now, I probably won't send it back with like a Christmas card with our picture,
No,
but
'cause it
that
is
would be
a-
nice. So he and I are fine though.
Yep.
We're truly, I mean, we're fine. But so anyway, that was my point with that. Like, I don't understand making a commitment for life with somebody and then throwing their things away.
Eva said, before my husband passed, I loved him so much, I would wake up and think, what can I do today to make his day easier? Sometimes only bringing him a cup of coffee. And that's, I mean, even when that's the truth.
I'm going to pin it. He doesn't know how.
Even when we're not, I won't say not getting along, but we have rocky days where it's mostly us have self-preservation, where we've got stuff going on in our heads. She could be on her last wit of the day, and she's taking care of me, or she's trying to take care of me. I'm not used to that, and neither of my marriages was I used to it. My first one, I was in the military, I was gone all the time, but I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think when I accept something like that, I'm lazy, or I'm taking advantage of her. It's still a learning process for me to accept things. Yeah. But when we do fight, I think one of the things that I'm still really stubborn about is I just will stop communicating.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like, she would be used to like
Hey,
texting back and forth. I go silent.
And now I know when certain things happen, there's a look that comes over him that I know not scary, but I know that he's about to shut down. Like, he's about to disconnect. And then it's, so I've learned that I don't take it to that point. I was used to taking it to that point in previous relationships, but I've realized with him, he can seriously just emotionally protect himself.
I mean, I got hurt to the point that you can't sit there and take that. The only way you can sit in there for 10 years like I did is to shut it down.
Yeah.
Just shut it down. And I told her that I would never do that. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of the protection that I have, but I will never allow myself to not care, And
I've learned that when that happens, it has nothing to do with me. It's not that you're so mad at me that whatever I might have popped off of, it has nothing to do with that. So I don't say, okay, and then walk away, go to the other room when he's there. I'll say, okay, this is stupid. Let's stop.
Yeah.
And then
normally she's getting her nails done, and then we start texting. She's like, are we going to be stupid all day?
Look, that is so true. Let it go. PTSD from TC. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I had PTSD anyway. And so I wasn't doing, I've said this before that, when I would do therapy, once they understood the relationship that I was in, my therapy to get on with my life and function was secondary to therapy to be able to stay in the environment that I was in.
Yeah.
So that you hear me say all the time, I didn't progress for 10 years. Like, I'm 52, but I'm doing stuff that I should have done at 42 when I got out of the military. I have started another career. I can not have to stay around the house to make sure that she's going to be okay. And she has bad days. She has days where she has to check out. But so that's like, I don't try to look back with any regrets. You just take the lessons and move ahead. But sometimes I can't get past. It's hard for me to realize that like 20% of my life I was in a hold pattern and just not growing as a person. And I am again now.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what we were talking about when we got together, you know, what you were going to do, where you were going to work, if you were going to work, if you were going to write, if we had kids right away, with the COVID hit, if we did that, if you were going to, and I was like, I don't care what you do, but whatever it is, you're absolutely qualified to do it.
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and I said, you are one of the most intelligent people I've ever met, which is another reason I don't understand how he could stay with the mental midget for so long. And I know that has become a joke term.
The mental midget. I said that on a live stream years ago.
Yeah.
Stop
but
being a mental
it's true.
midget.
He's such a deep thinker and he's a complex thinker. And I'm not saying I'm a rocket scientist or anything, but when you connect certain, like, okay, well, when you think broader than just textbook knowledge or whatever, I'm surprised you could be.
I'm allowed to now.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I'm allowed to. I always used to say, you know, that the other relationship was like swimming in a bathtub.
Yeah.
It's shallow and confining, and you know, and hard to move.
Yeah.
You know, and not deep. It's shallow and confining, and you couldn't move. You couldn't really move around. And now I can.
Yeah.
If you think about, like, Megan's in this chat. She's 22. So just, Megan, if you take all of your life experiences and you go 2.5 times, everything you've learned and everything, and some of y'all that are as old as I am or older, everything that you've done and learned about in your life, but not really being able to grow with it, or, you know, and there's people that never do because they stay in certain situations their whole lives. And then you get to, it's okay.
I was just answering. I'm not going to tell you you got to mind your own business. They just said, are you close to with your kids? And we are. It's a learning experience. Definitely. I'm learning how to be a stepmother.
Yeah.
Sean, I mean, it is, but no, I would say that we are. I don't know. You have to answer that.
The thing is that, but again, when I used to come into town it would be for limited amounts of time. And I've learned, like, my kids would, you know, struggle to get time with me. I've always said, if my greatest failure in life, it would be as a dad. She disagrees with me, but it's just something that I wrestle with every day. Not every day, but what I've learned to do is, now that I'm around them as much as they want to be around me, is I understand how to be a better dad and where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
I mean, they would come to me when they only
I heard that. Let it go.
You know,
Go ahead.
they would come to me whenever they needed something, and then I would, you know, they were taught, unfortunately, to make me feel a certain way when they couldn't get what they wanted when they wanted it, or they would only come around when they wanted something. So, you know, I've learned to just say, if that's the way our relationship's going to be, that's fine. I'll, you know, I get along with all my kids, but I want a relationship. And it's not just going to be, I'm going to go to my dad's and he's going to give me some money, or I'm going to tell him what I want. And in that regard, I think, I don't know if it's getting along with your kids better, but I think they have a better respect for me and I for them. And then that will grow from there. I mean, my kids are never going to be out on the street if I can help it. But at the same time, I'm able to say, no, you're going to have to do this on your own. I can't bail you out of this, or I can't just throw money at this or whatever. I'm right here, and you're never going to be starving, and you're never going to be homeless. But I want to have more of a relationship, and not just be like the guy that they come to when they need a resource. And that's what she's helped me see, is that, I mean, my daughter came here when we moved into this place. And she came in here, and she lived here for 3 months. About 3 months. And there was some stuff that we expected, and she really didn't do it. And we weren't overbearing with her, but she moved out. But in the process, she figured out what she needed to do to live on her own. She didn't want to live by certain types of rules here, and it wasn't a bad thing, but she figured out how to gather resources and go and be in her own space.
And it gave her the confidence.
Yeah.
I think she thought, she didn't believe that she
didn't think she
had
could.
the ability to do it. And I mean, I was like, this girl's independent. This girl has
She's
what
not
it takes.
home,
She's not,
know,
there's nothing. And that's why, you know, it was like, not go, she chose, but it was like, you got it. You have what it takes to make it. You know what I mean? You don't need anybody to keep you in a house.
And these are things that I should have been doing with my kids 10 years ago when they were 10, when they were 14, and not when they're 24 and 20 and stuff like that. And so that's I accept the parts of that I have culpability for, and accept them. And I've learned what's not my fault. There's things what's not my fault that I used to think was.
Yeah.
And so that's my relationship. My kids, I've got one of them that's up in Ohio with my grandkids, and I don't talk to her that much. We haven't really gotten to that level. We're both kind of stubborn, but my other two, I'm pretty good with.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And they live around here, so.
Sir, what are you doing? He's like trying to dig a hole in the tree skirt. I don't know why. Maybe he thinks it's a real tree. If that's true, let it go. That blows my mind. I'm not gonna. This right here.
Let me see.
Apparently, they're back to being goody goodies. Some people are gluttons for punishment, I guess.
She said on last night's stream that Seabreeze was forced to do.
Look, I was like, we're not gonna say it out loud. And he's like, let me go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I haven't really been. I don't follow that scene at all. I honestly don't. I know it comes up every so often when people say, this, that. I don't. If I wasn't with Mandi, I would have no idea. She is friends with people and this and that, and they keep up with it, so I'm in the know. But not really. I don't really know much about what's going on at all.
He doesn't.
I don't know what's going on there at all. I mean, every so often I have to set a record straight. Like somebody will ask me a certain question, or Mandi will say, "What about this?" And I'll give a fact or historical reference from where I was. But going forward, I don't care.
We've always said this. Talking about exes as in a relationship is not really good pillow talk. It's not. It doesn't do anything. I don't talk about mine. I can talk about nobody. It doesn't even like. In that respect, it doesn't come up. It's not. Nobody wants to hear about it in your relationship. Nobody does. Well.
Yeah, Eva says the problem with memories is the ones that are most precious hurt me, and they do.
Yeah.
You just have to. I think you just have to remember that it's all to learn from.
Well, her spouse passed away.
Yeah, I know, and I couldn't imagine that. I just couldn't. I couldn't wrap my head around that. And I don't know how you could. I don't know how you did.
Yeah, we think about that. Like at some point, even if you live to be 100 years old, someone has to say goodbye before the other. It's a fact of life. I don't go there because if I go there in my mind, I don't know how you do that.
Like Black Dragonfly, lost my love of 40 years.
Oh my God.
23 months ago. Miss him terribly and learning to be on my own. I look back and I say, I don't know how. I mean, she's been in my life like 3.5% of my life or something like that, 2.5 years or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how I did it.
We talk about that all the time. How did we do it?
I don't mean that to be disrespectful to my kids or to people that have mentored me in my life, but the older I get, the more I have come to that corny thing that everybody that you run into in your life, or you have all your relationships, everybody, every boss, every job, everyone is placed into your life for a finite amount of time to teach you something. And when you find the love of your life, and you guys knew that, and you guys were fortunate enough to spend, Black Dragonfly 40 years. I mean, if we get 40 years together, I'll be 90.
You'll be 90.
Yeah.
You will. I mean, you will.
I'll be over on the porch with
the 2-year-old.
You'll be sending me to McDonald's for iced tea.
Yeah, for
like,
half sweet, half unsweet tea with extra ice, and I'm like, and it would behoove you to make sure they put enough ice in it. But they always do. They know me. That's my standard order or whatever. But and we had a bunch of near misses where it wasn't the right time. We were both
Danny.
we were both at Fort Riley together. I had 2 young kids. I was married. My marriage was my marriage. It was whatever.
Mine was mine.
And his was his, and he was raising kids, and
20,
I was
like
raising
20
kids.
years ago, you know.
And we literally lived less than probably half a mile from each other.
Can you imagine that, guys? I mean, 20 years ago, we were like
Yeah.
in the same neighborhood with our families and didn't know
Well,
each
not
other.
the same neighborhood. But
Well, but you know what I mean.
he was in officer housing, but
Well, I was in officer housing. She was in.
I didn't even have a dishwasher. We won't go there.
Yeah.
But you talk about near misses in life, and when it wasn't the right time, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time until it was, especially for me. You guys know that. It wasn't the right time until it, so we can, think, which we don't, because we have children. Both of us have our children, so you can't go there, and your journey is your journey. But
it was crazy. We think about it, and there had to have been a time or two where we crossed paths.
Halloween's, going trick-or-treating.
At that time, she was a 20-year-old with 2 young kids, and I was 30 with, and I was a brand new officer. I'd been to officer candidate school. I was really, really married to the Army. I mean, it was my life. I mean, really. But there had to have been a time or two in the PX or in the shop ed or something, or in the commissary where we
Hey, Clancy.
saw each other maybe.
And that's what I mean. You think about that now, like, it's almost like a bad Hallmark movie. You think and you're like, if we crossed paths and kind of looked at each other and was like, they look familiar, and then just kept walking. And we don't remember that, but it was like deja vu,
Yeah.
But it was.
One of these days we were going to plan, because my stepson, her son is out west in a station and in the Midwest, and we were going to somehow get out there, and when we were out there, go to Fort Riley, Kansas, and go there and kind of drive around.
And Fort Stewart.
We were both at Fort Stewart, but at different times.
He was in like.
We were stationed at the same place, and I was there 95 to 98.
Yeah, I was in high school.
I know.
I was in high school. And then I got married in 97. So
I joined the Army when you were
5th grade.
I went to basic training though when you were like 10. I went in 1988. She was 10 years old.
Isn't that crazy when you think about that?
Yeah.
But we are gonna do that. We're gonna go look at different places. At some point, we should go to England and Germany.
Okay, Saint Ratty. She said have a good evening. I have to do some shopping.
Oh, I gotta wrap everything. I've got everything. I gotta wrap it though. The main thing is at Fort Stewart, where my housing was used to be the field.
Yep.
So, and it really still kind of was. I mean, it was like all the way up to your back door. But you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, that's always fascinating. Like when we first crossed over, we figured out that we were at Fort Riley at the same time.
Yeah, we were in two different duty stations, one at different times, and then one at the same time.
Yeah. The only thing that I could have done is like, hey, I know you don't know me. Don't do the vasectomy yet.
Don't do that. Because that's when I had it. Because
right?
that's where my youngest was born
and
at
you'd
Fort
be
Riley,
like,
and I had a
what?
vasectomy.
I'd be like, you'd be like,
Just
what? And I'm like,
trust me.
just don't
do it. I would have been like.
The other thing that we used to talk about after we crossed over, and it was like a couple months into it and whatever, I was like, what if tomorrow you woke up and you were on the couch in Jacksonville in that apartment?
Everything had been a bad dream.
No, not a bad dream.
But everything had been a dream.
Everything about us had been a dream. And he was like, I was like, would you call me? He goes, I think I would call you and be like, this is crazy, but hear me out.
Yeah.
And probably if it was meant to be, I'd be like, okay, go ahead, start talking. And you're like,
well,
I had this dream.
Yeah.
But anyway, but when I said it, I was like, and you woke up and it was a dream, and he goes, oh, no. But you see that in movies. And then when it happens in movies, you're like, no.
You get in that car and you drive off.
Yeah. There was a couple movies like that.
Yeah, every time I see a silver Ford Mustang, and there's more of them than you think. Mm-hmm. I just go, oof.
I remember the first vlog you did, because you were asleep in it, but I remember the first vlog you did where you had gotten rid of, was it the Maxima?
Yeah, I had a Maxima.
And you got the Mustang, and you were vlogging, and it was like, I think he's in a sports car.
Yeah.
And you said it pretty quick that it was a new car.
Yeah.
But those are actually comfortable, not to sleep in, But the passenger side, when I would ride with you, it
Yeah.
kind of hugs you.
It's
It hugs you.
it's a good touring car. Like if you've got you can't carry much in it, but if you got to drive long distances on the freeways, it was a good.
Yeah.
It was
Hey,
a pretty
Danny.
good car.
You're regretting
So-
your vasectomy. Thought we were done, but now, yeah, that
Yeah.
does happen. Like it happens even when you're
Yeah.
with the same partner that you were with when you thought you were done. I had a doctor that told me, because when it was done in my marriage, it was I was 20 and he was 27, of course, but the doctor, it was my obstetrician, and he was like, are you going to get on birth control? It's like, no, we have an appointment to go do this. And he goes, she's too young.
Yeah.
And not saying that it will happen, but it could happen that the two of you don't work out, and that doesn't mean it's going to.
Or what happened in your life? You wanted another baby.
Like a couple years later, I was like,
Yep.
I think that this is like, not, it was actually about 5 years later.
Right,
When
you told him.
finally was like,
Yep.
and at that time I thought that a reversal, he didn't want to
Yeah.
do that. But I thought a reversal wouldn't work. And it turns out at that time, it's very successful.
Yeah.
Not probably if the Army does it, they'll hook it up to your thyroid or something.
It'll be like on the side of my leg
But
or something like that. It'll be
again,
like, well,
that was it worked out like that for a reason. I was
Yep.
meant to have 2 children, and
Yep.
you know, he was meant to have 3 in his situation, and then
And one of the things we talk about is how would our relationship or how would things have been if I had a
6
child
years.
with her? So that child would be anywhere from 10 years old to lower.
And
to
I've already
younger.
said I couldn't.
She said I couldn't do it.
I couldn't. I could
if we had to-
not have not because I would have anything against the child, but because I couldn't handle that connection.
her being in there. She said
forever.
we'd still hook up, but
Well, we probably would definitely still hook up. We were talking about
Mm-hmm.
that tonight before I decided, when I was about to paint the house, that
Yeah.
that I was like, yeah. I mean, I'd have been like, I'm really trying to, but it's like, but can you come to Texas? And you're like, I guess so.
trying to be good here, we're in but yeah, I can be on the 8
And
o'clock
Danny
flight
was
out.
saying that they're at 6 years now, and there's the success rate at that is very high. And it is not as expensive as you might think it is. It's about $3,000 if you have a competitive doctor with that. It's the highest we saw was if they do with robotic surgery, it was like 6,000. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you're,
Yeah.
if that's a thing, and then
Because there are people that have to have surgery, not like a vasectomy reversal, but they're just with the plumbing down there, they don't have any swimmers, so they just have to
Yeah.
adjust something
I had a
down
nail
there.
lady that's
Yeah.
what they had to do. So it was.
Swimmers.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like, I'm like, we want one so bad, and it's like, I know they're there. They're
Yeah, oh, yeah.
right there. They're
right
just
there.
not making.
They're just on the other side
They're
of the
just jumping
screen
into
going-
the abyss.
They're like, what's going on? You guys are like practicing all the time, and we're ready.
I know. That's
We're ready to go for the race.
And Karen and I have talked about that. He had never been married or had children, but they wish that they had to this day. Their dogs are as close as anybody could imagine, but Karen has shared that with me before that. And I don't know what the situation was, why I don't know if it was an age, I don't know. We haven't gotten into that, but, we'll give it our best attempts.
Yeah.
And it's only a matter of, variants quit popping up.
Send me in, coach. They'll let it go. Says,
Is
send
that
me in,
online
kids.
since
Put me in, coach.
No, the
Like
it's
you're
funny.
watching Hoosiers, the movie Hoosiers.
No,
Takes
the
last
doctor
shot.
that we went to, with his how long it's been, said it was about 75%. If it had been less than 10 years, between 5 and 7 years, it was like 95% with this doctor.
Yeah. It's still like, even now, he said he's like 80, 85,
He said
87%, which
the
is still
biggest
pretty
thing
good.
was my age, and I
Yeah.
didn't. The chromosome thing aside, he had said that when you're my age, you only have about a 10% chance of spontaneous pregnancy every month, and you couple that with, this,
Yeah, but-
whatever.
But even if if I was still firing off right, I'm not trying to sound, how do I say this? As much as there's a 10% chance, well, as much as we do it, we would have been pregnant by
the two
now.
times that both of the times, like with my son, it was that was planned for that month. I mean, there was no issue there. So, but all we can do
You're
is
a fertile woman. Yeah.
yeah. It was when we first got together, because I've always been every 28 days. When we first got together, remember, like at we hadn't moved into the apartment yet, but we were whatever, and it was like 3 weeks late, and I was like, that's gonna be crazy if.
Yeah, I was like, you got some splaining to do.
Yeah, I was like, no, it's legit yours, but that would be God's hand in it if it had been like. But yeah, so and
He'd
apparently
probably be a linebacker because that swimmer busted through.
Oh my god, he's got an ego. Y'all don't know that about him, but
I do have an ego.
But I
think
I don't
that's the
help
other
it
thing,
because
though.
I
It's good to have an ego around people that let that be there sometimes. It's the other thing.
well, and I tell you the truth, but I do say everything that probably someone who had an ego would want to hear.
Yeah.
And it's all true. But sometimes he's hilarious. Like we talked about when you were, when we went to the appointment in Texas, and you were like, okay, before I pull this out, the
So the appointment was because at some point,
it was right when
they have to,
was getting started.
you drop trowel and they make sure everything's there that they can work with it. And I was like, all right, I got to warn you, like, you might want to send everybody to lunch, send everybody out.
It's gonna get dark.
It's gonna get dark when this comes out, and you just lower the curtains so nobody. I don't want any craziness. It gets kind of crazy sometimes.
And
Mandy's
we
just
were
sitting
laughing.
there like this,
we
going.
were sick. Like that's the first time he'd ever said that, and we were in there laughing because it's already a rather awkward thing. Because I'm like, well, what do they have to do? And he looked at where the scar was, which Sean was like, I don't even know where the scar was, but he found it, and he was like, yeah, everything's good. He was a good doctor, and if we had stayed in Texas, that would have been the one.
And he was almost not arrogant, but he was really confident, and we were like, well, I'm pretty good at this. I'm about the best there is.
That's what he said.
So if you, and I do these all the time, so if it's going to happen, I can make it happen, is what he said.
And his brother was the female doctor, so he said we got to do an egg count and look at you.
Imagine that,
and he
yes.
said my brother.
So they sit
is
around at the
fertility-
house, and have like Christmas dinner.
I'm
and
like,
talk
can you
about their
imagine
clients and
his
stuff.
parents are like, yeah, we got two.
Yeah, we got two doctors here.
Yeah. But it was like at that point, COVID had kicked off. Masks weren't even a thing yet. Remember, masks were not even a mandatory thing.
They sure weren't. We were ready to go. I mean, so much got put on hold in everybody's lives. You guys know the stuff that you were planning to do or that you thought was going to happen, 2 years ago, going to where you'd be now and what COVID's done to everybody's lives. Ours were like, oh my God, how many curveballs can be thrown to get us divorced, to get us married, the surgery. I mean, something really like that I have to get on top of now is I had done a couple phases of my 50-year-old physical. So, that's important for me to get that all done, like the colonoscopy and this and that, to make sure early detection, just like women need to with their breasts and stuff.
Didn't you make that appointment? I know you missed it.
I've got to go online and do a couple of
Okay.
things. It's important. I mean,
is important.
I mean, survival, cancer, most people know that cancer, when hits a certain stage, it's been there for a while. And you can live a perfectly normal, healthy, energetic life and just never know it's in there when it's in the early phases.
Well, and colon cancer is easily treated if it's detected early.
Yes,
That was,
that's the point. And,
right, Let It Go says reverse it already. My Sean balked at
Yeah.
the 50 cent. Yeah, the 50%. No, it's and I don't think. I mean, this guy said he was the best probably in Texas. Like,
Yeah.
you
Oh, yeah.
would-
He
you
was.
would-
He was.
But
he was on
said
the verge
people
of
have
arrogance.
flown from
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
To
He just
him
basically
before,
said, "I'm the
so-
guy. This is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said, and he explained how they do it, and it made total sense. It made total sense. It also depends on how the vasectomy was done. He said he can reverse any of them, but
yeah.
how it gets reversed, and then they have to learn to swim again. Remember, he said that.
Yeah. He said they don't
further
understand.
further down in the tube is where they learn to swim. So
Yeah. They're just all kind of hanging out.
They
right
got
now.
like
They're
inner tubes and.
They ever open that door over there? I mean.
Yeah. No, we at that time it was like I had, sold the marital home. We had the cat, everything. Just wasn't the right time yet.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right time.
It wasn't. So we went on vacation with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That's very common with husband. It says no, not that the doctor was good. My husband thinks he has super sperm. All men think that.
Well,
What do you say about why you had nothing but girls?
Because I knocked the balls right off them.
Who told you that? Where did you get that?
Somebody else that had a bunch of girls told me that. He was like, yeah, somebody said it takes a real man to create a man, and I said, takes a real man to knock off them. So
takes a real man to create a man.
Yeah, it was somebody that. Yeah, I mean.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's interesting. There was another. There's another leg to that story, but the robotic surgery was part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, and what did he say? If you want to be put under general anesthesia and be asleep when they do it, it was an extra whatever. And I'm like, well, how much off is it? He was like, I want to be asleep. Isn't that what you said?
I think so. Well, when I had my vasectomy, I didn't know. Okay, so they gave me a Valium about. You take the Valium about an hour before, and it's a pretty heavy dose. And they just want to make sure, because if someone's about to go downstairs and work on your boys with razors, that's, you posture where you clench and everything stays up. So they give you a Valium, and so that so you relax, so that they can do
You've done so much Valium in college. I'm surprised you even felt it.
Yeah, but I've been in the Army for a while.
I know.
So
I'm
anyway,
kidding.
so I was still kind of like really, really nervous, even though I was geeked out. So what they did is they brought this really, really cute nurse, and she came in and she just kind of leaned over, because I'm sitting there in the stirrups ready for him to do the work, But I'm just like, oh my God. And he said, we've given you all the medication we can, and you're still kind of. So they brought this really cute nurse in, and it's not. And when you're messed up, remember when you said you had a doctor and you were just talking to your doctor, kind of like, how normally you wouldn't. And so she started talking to me, and I'm like, talking to her, and she's, right in my face, just talking. And then I guess apparently at some point he just ducked down there while she was talking to me and did what had to be done. I didn't feel a thing. Yeah,
my ex-husband wasn't completely numb when they started, and he was like, and they said, we have to finish the cut, and then they did, and then they finished numbing him. But I think I've told this before, they said to get a bag of frozen peas. Yeah. But I'm at fault too, because I didn't know. They said to get a bag of frozen peas, and we had no clue it was like to put as an ice pack. And he was eating a bowl of frozen peas that night because he was
eating
sore.
The peas instead of putting
thinking frozen peas had some analgesic quality or something, but I was young and dumb, and he's eating frozen peas, and
saying,
he's like,
this isn't doing anything.
This isn't working. And then it was like, it wasn't until years later that someone was like doing, I was like, oh, it's an ice pack. Okay, yeah. Isn't that funny? Her husband says he could smell the burning scent. And Ricky says that husbands do have super sperm. So Ricky's husband.
Well, I mean, that's good.
Ricky's got it made. That's so funny. But yeah, so anyways.
When did you duck in here, Ricky?
He piped up to say that. Sicko mode, meth seized after months-long investigation in North Georgia.
What's that?
Some meth was seized.
Oh, no, it came down on my,
Imagine that.
Yeah, there's
Oh, that was the other thing, because we are going to jump off here in a second, but a little bit of tea. Okay, so there was something that was sent to me that somebody said, if I wanted to still, like, he's like, shut the hell up. If I still wanted to be a Mrs., I would still be the Mrs. or whatever, right?
Oh, okay,
like,
no, go ahead, yeah.
A placeholder in North Carolina said this. Let me just say, first of all, he's the one that filed. And second of all, you contested it, and you held on to it with your little grip as tightly as you could. So, with all due respect.
Till our attorney
basically said, I'm going to wipe your face in court.
Right. You need to end it, or I will end it.
Yep. And so, but anyway, that was the only thing I want to say. It was like, who filed? You know what I mean? Like this. Now this is my ego. Who filed? Who said no? Who tried? I I think we know which is which. That was just a little snippet that I got sent. I only have a couple people that I do get lots and lots of DMs with snippets. There's only a couple people that'll actually watch it because they don't send me like, look what she said about China. You know what I mean? Like they're whatever. And I was
I think a lot of people. I think people just. I think they start to understand. First of all, they just respect the fact that we're not on it as much as we. You
don't get it at all.
I don't get it at all, and you're pulled off of it. But I think that they just don't get anything from us. No. I mean, it's like, people used to get mad at me. You're not doing this. You don't do that. You don't protect her. You don't. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
If you've seen how the courtroom went, you've seen how things went. I did plenty.
Yeah.
I mean,
he handled it like a champ.
I just paid an attorney and let the attorney do it.
Yeah.
Take care of it. That's what you pay them for.
Timestamps. Yes, so. I do that too. I've asked for timestamps if it's something that's like insane where it just might, this is not so much anymore, but it was going to be a legal issue. Mm-hmm. Not legal like gonna go to jail and YouTube's gonna arrest you, but legal like part of the divorce. I'd be like, can you send me a timestamp? 9 times out of 10, what was said was not how it was relayed to me. And that's
the thing about court. This is my last comment. When especially the drama, people, they hear something and then they give an opinion or they tell a side of it or they interpret something and it spins into this big thing. And it can be something like, taking money from an organization or whatever we do in the drama community. But, I knew the truth about a lot of this stuff, and whether I was at liberty to say it or not, you have to be 100% accurate. Mm-hmm. You get one shot to get it right with a magistrate or whatever. And people rarely get, I don't care who we're talking about, which person we're talking about, what the situation is. That's why they have investigators that do it, and they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. That's why I say nobody cares about this, because when you give a testimony, or you write something down, or you give an account of something, it has to be right, or it doesn't matter. It does, or they're not going to give you another shot, and if it's not the truth, then it doesn't matter even if some of it's the truth. Legally, if you don't get it all right, it doesn't matter if you get some of it right, and that's about 95% of the drama that goes on isn't completely accurate with anything.
And sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is, but it rarely though.
Yeah.
Rarely.
And judges don't care about YouTube.
They don't. And I'm not talking about my situation. I'm talking about in general.
Like so ours didn't either.
right. Ours didn't. But
didn't
but
care.
Like when I hear drama from like anybody that I hear the drama from, all the stuff that's going on now with whoever, I always kind of say, yeah, that's kind of messed up, but we don't know exactly if that's exactly how it went. So
I love running to him and being like, so they say so
what do you think about this?
So and so's gonna leave in handcuffs, and he's like,
no, they're not. Someone just called their lawyer.
St. Jude is going to supply, and it's like St. Jude doesn't care. They're worried about.
If you got a lot of money, you can hire a lawyer to make somebody's life a little bit uncomfortable. But other than that,
they don't.
And we've seen it time and time again.
Yes. We were going to do a parody of it where we were like FBI agents, and I was going to be like, well, that would be kind of exciting, wouldn't it?
It'd be like,
that's a
Inspector
whole new
Curley, I've got all this paperwork. This is everything that happened with this case. What do you think?
And he was going to look at it.
And then we're going to
go, oh,
and then we're going to have the window breaking and then throw it.
It's like it's a YouTube situation. It is. They have footage of this person.
This is the timestamp. Okay, and then just throw it by the window breaking.
We should still do it.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody that's followed me for a long time, do you remember when I did that thing with the crayon and I did the cease and desist with the crayon and was like, oh my God, I got served my cease and desist and from the Beast, and it was like, this was way before me and Sean, way before, and it was in crayon, and I was like, whatever, and I you didn't see my face, but you showed me. I wish I had deleted that because that one people really liked. And it said, "You trolls, shut up now." And then it's.
I mean, I remember there's been a couple times when cease and desist come in, and you have somebody that's just crazy. They don't care,
no.
and people that aren't
Right.
crazy, they get nervous about it. But really, a cease and desist is good if there's a planned action behind it. It's like the initial volley.
But celebrities can't even make it stick.
But
Celebrities
if you
serve
send a cease
tabloids
and
with
desist
them. And
as a standalone
see,
document,
yes.
what?
Ricky remembers that it was written in crayon.
The Crayola.
Yeah, and I opened the envelope and I pulled it out and it had like tension music or whatever.
You trolls,
it
stop
said you
now.
trolls. There might be on the flash drive. I don't know, but
a standalone C&D, it doesn't.
They're pointless.
It doesn't work by itself. It's like.
I think Savage wiped her.
They just don't.
They don't work.
They don't work. They're used as a scare tactic, but a lawyer will use it if he plans. It's like, what have you done to precipitate this motion? He'll have paperwork.
And it's not enforceable in a criminal court.
No.
This is the other thing.
Yep.
It's not a criminal situation. Nobody's going to jail.
Nope.
And then when they find out you have absolutely no money to be sued for, then whoever you paid to do it is going to be like, what? That's why celebrities have been serving the National Enquirer and those tabloids for years. Now there's a couple that they got scared into stopping.
Most of the time,
But
they don't even go to court. If the National Enquirer gets sued and they made millions of dollars off of it, instead of going to court, they'll just pay it. They'll settle, and they still made a profit.
When I heard the judge say this in ours about when there was stuff being said about hashtags, it was literally said in court, she hashtagged bear. And the judge was like, what? That's my dog. And he looked and he goes, this is what it also boils down to. As Americans, we have the First Amendment right of freedom of press and freedom of speech. And when you take it back that basic, you're like, oh.
Now there's the one case where the Rich Life is getting sued by somebody.
But that's blatant
But that's not YouTube stuff though. That is something else that person was
Incited.
able to show evidence that he lost income or his or
Slander.
Yeah,
and libel, yeah.
But it didn't have it wasn't like two YouTubers doing it.
And it's still not criminal.
It's still not criminal, but apparently
Well, I mean,
when
maybe-
Rich Life went into his
His business.
into his .com or something and said a bunch of stuff, you can't do that.
No. Unless
and
you have
that's
a
why.
dildo shop.
Right.
If you have a dildo shop, you're gonna be said what people are gonna say about your dildo shop. If it's
That's
an
right.
online dildo
Yeah.
shop, if it's a New England dildo shop, if it's
Yeah. I mean, dildo shops they have a whole statute just for dildo shops.
yeah.
I mean,
But Ricky, he caught that when I said that, when I was like, we can pretend like we're FBI people, and I was like, oh, that's a whole new.
yeah.
Ricky caught it. Anyway, we are gonna go, and
Okay, Karen. Yeah, we'll share it out on
cuts
Twitter.
in my skin's so dry. If you have your hand, does anybody have their hands in water a lot and their skin's dry and you get those little bitty cracks on your fingers that hurt so bad? They hurt. You have to pack them with lotion and keep them packed with lotion.
The state of North Carolina is suing Rich Life, but it's in their representative body or something. That's
Is it really the state
well,
suing?
that's what Let It Go said. The state of North Carolina is, which means it's like a case where, if you remember, like when she went to court with Crystal Ehart, even though Ehart brought the charges, it was still the state of North Carolina with the mechanic. It was still the state of North Carolina. That because when the DA is the attorney for the plaintiff, then it's the state.
Eva
So-
says, Sean, I don't understand how Monkey Boy is able to sue RL. Monkey Boy did do work for RL and left a negative review. But from what I understand
Yeah.
is there was a whole bunch of either, I don't know who supports them or if they were troll accounts. They came in and they hadn't, it was a hit job, an online hit job.
Yeah. Now, if that person can go forward with paperwork and say, as a result
Yeah.
of these people coming into this, and doing this, I lost this income,
Yeah.
or I lost this job offer, or whatever.
It can't
But
be
you have to prove it, and
Yeah.
and you can't. I mean, you have to be able to prove that.
And most of the time, in most situations, the court's gonna say Well, that sucks. Social media is a
Yeah.
Yelp
log
is
off.
not.
Yeah, you guys just need to.
I mean,
to
Yelp
not.
has a disclaimer right there.
But there was
saying-
something else that must have happened, that he proved something.
Yeah,
like-
I don't. Let It Go's one that caught us up last time on. I didn't know. I did hear he showed up in a white leisure suit to court or something like that.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Can you
In his
imagine
1998 Winnebago.
trying to take up 6 spots?
There's
and
some. I'm not gonna say who it is, but there's someone in our chat that is in transition right now, and hanging out like at an RV park for the holidays. If you see that 1998
Yes.
rattle trap Winnebago, and you
We
hear
thought
some,
it was out here in
in
Dawsonville.
and you hear someone going, "Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know why everyone picks on me.
like, I don't bother."
ban you to Alcatraz. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I don't even. Every time they catch him on a channel, but he always
You
sucked.
got me all worried up.
He always sucked his, and I can't
Yeah.
stand that sound. I mean, everybody's got to do it once in a while if it's bad, but he sits there and does it over and over and over again. Anyways,
Crew, are we sending Christmas cards out?
yeah, we are sending
Okay.
Christmas cards out. So
we will.
I don't think that hoe watches us though. That
Yeah,
crazy
but-
woman in
Yeah. But
down south.
if you want to send Tam
I'ma
Tam a
send you-
Christmas card, send her one.
Yeah, she thinks that all kinds of people are doing fingerprints.
Yeah.
You can send Christmas cards to people, and it's not a sign
It's
of
not against the
stalking.
law.
It's just not. So you might be getting a Christmas card with our picture. And I mean, I may even kiss it because the nightingale with the red lips may kiss it. Then you can send it for DNA.
It's true.
You're going to find 2 DNAs on it, though. Make sure you know whose is. No, I'm just kidding.
all kinds of DNAs.
Anyway, we got to go. That's.
It might be Sawyer Brown's DNA.
may
All
have
right,
dog hair
guys.
in our lips.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we will. But
We'll
you
be-
just never know.
You never know.
You never know. We can't.
See, we're not
miss it.
putting a bunch of hashtags in it, and we're not like putting it out on Twitter and stuff before we do it.
I gotta get my
So,
nails fixed.
we're good. Well, you shouldn't have spent all that money today.
Oh my gosh, I did go Christmas shop night, Megan. Have a good night. Hey, Eva. Woo! I've spent a lot on Christmas this year, but we're stationary and I was excited and we're not in transition and anyway, but yeah, I have. So,
Yeah,
I
we're
gotta
here.
wrap it. I'm doing a candy cane theme with all the wrapping paper. So it's all different forms of candy canes and stuff like that. So if you wrap
Okay.
my present, please do it accordingly.
I'll tell them I need overtime.
No, you wrap it in candy cane wrapping paper. Tell Amazon or Adam and Eve or whoever you get it.
Tell the dildo shop.
All
right,
we don't
guys.
need that. Anyways, talk to you later,
See
guys.
you.
Y'all have a good night. Let me see one thing real quick. Thank you. Bye, you guys. We'll see
Bye.
you next time.